It's so cool to be back doing it. I mean, it's just like
it's been way too long.
You got these cameras and
the cameras,
the mic to set up the lights.
We got a way better view this time. I hope I don't get distracted.
It is pretty. I can see myself getting distracted. I'm not even gonna
cars
lie.
driving down.
I thought about a helicopter.
I'm not gonna name that because if I name that, then people know it's like my secret driving spot through town.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have. It's nice to have some greenery in the back. And,
stay off my road.
No, I don't mind. The people on it now already know about it.
That's fair.
But anyways, it's nice to be with you though, because I haven't. I feel like because of your new job, I don't even get to spend time. We don't get to spend as much time talking and chopping it up as we used to.
I tell you what it is, man. It was jumping out of a busy season, right, with the CPA firm and tax season and it being like crazy, and then jumping into a new job football, right, spring practice.
Well, yeah.
And
football's going to consume you.
Starting a new job at the school, and then it's like, it was the busy season to be in maintenance because, all the teachers are gone, so it's
that's
like...
That's fair. So you should go from busy season to busy season,
that's
pretty much.
That's how it happened.
With a very little lull in between.
Which is fine. I like to stay busy. It keeps me moving.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess.
Makes you eating dinner at like 4:30.
Dude.
In the bed or pass out on the couch by 8:30.
Getting off at 3:30, eating dinner at 4, and then I'm ready for bed about 5:30. That ain't no lie. Get the early bird special, beat the dinner rush.
It's the life.
It is. I don't mind
the life, man.
I used to make jokes about it when we were kids because that's what we'd do. It was like, especially like after school, going to Wednesday church or something like that. We'd eat dinner at like 4 and then go out to church or something. And people were like, "Dang, you eat dinner so early." And
I don't remember the name of it, but there was a Japanese restaurant on Decker.
Yep.
Where if we went like around 4:15 or something
early
like
bird
that,
special,
and like we would. But it was cool, man.
Hey, it's funny now. I mean, like I said, 4 o'clock dinners is me.
Has it come full circle for you?
It does. It comes full circle. Even like when I was in the upstate working with Christian and Cole and like teaching and stuff like that, I said stuff Dad said to me all the time, and I was like, I remember telling Dad, I'll never say any of that. Never say any of it. And then sure enough, I say my first thing to Christian Cole. I was like, I texted Dad immediately that day. I was like, man.
I feel like the older I'm getting, the more it's like, I see what they were saying when they said that to me now. Like, I get it.
Well, it makes sense. Like,
I've even conveyed that multiple times.
I think it's even...
Thank you.
Sorry,
but thank you.
Right. I mean, it's even things that I try to say to some of my players. I'm like, yo, dang, these are things that people probably told to me, and it just like, I'm like, why aren't you grasping this? It's like, well, you didn't grasp it,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it makes it difficult because, like, you want people to, like, not have to go through some of the hardships and struggles or frustrations that you went through, but at the same time, like, the best thing we can do is we can encourage people, but, like, people still have to live out
absolutely
their own story. And it's like, it's not our beef, like, at least as best we can, try to not make it. It doesn't mean that people's decisions don't have implications on other people and those types of things. But
all you can do is make the best decision possible with the information that you have at hand, or something like that. It's in a movie, Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers?
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say Molly's Game.
Nah, I love that movie. Yeah. No, but they're walking through the market, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, I could choose these flowers.
It's Christopher Walken?
The best thing you can... I'm just kidding.
I thought you were really good.
No, I got a bad Christopher Walken.
He's not much of a...
Impersonation. Impersonation.
Yeah, you don't do it.
That's right. I don't do them well.
Solid.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's the quote that kills me, though. It's just like, that's really all you can do. And then, but then past that, you have to live with that, right? Then it's like, okay, good or bad consequences.
Well, yeah, and I think as I got older, it would be like, I've gotten less frustrated now with consequences of my decisions because I think I better understand, like, all right, when I'm making this decision, I know this is going to have implications in X, Y, and Z or certain types of things or whatever. And it's really just about, for me, what I'm learning is that it's not, you just can't let what happens stop you. I think the moment it stops you, like failure wins. Failure becomes the bad thing. Like, failure's not bad in and of itself because without failure, we wouldn't even recognize success or understand that stuff, right? I think we even talked about that some in the first season. But, like, it's only truly, like, failure in the negative sense when it's like, I failed and I'm no longer doing that.
Right.
Like, we give up on it. And it doesn't mean that there aren't times that I guess it means you need to cut bait. There's always going to be exceptions to things, I think, because life's so complex. But in a very real way, it's just about... I'm trying to tell myself, what am I cool with dealing with? That's how I'm trying to make decisions for myself now.
A lot of times, at least in my experience, it's like I want to make a decision, and then maybe after like a little bit of after the decision's made, it's like I'd like to change that, you know.
Fair.
It's like, but you can't really walk back on a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
So
You can't do that. Oh, side note, I just noticed I said fair, and I'm already calling it now. So in the last season, I said ultimately like
10,000
so
times.
many times. So many times. I even have Lauren made a T-shirt of it for me. But I feel like I might say fair a lot.
sure,
Yeah,
that's fair.
that's fair. But anyways, that was just a side note.
No, yeah, I mean it's cool. I think that was one of the fun things about even just rewatching us filming was you see stuff. It's like, ugh, I wish I was better there. But then it was just like, I don't care, man.
Yeah.
Like this is me.
fine.
This is who I am.
We had always talked about doing something like this, so like to actually even just do 5 episodes, like whatever, it was like, oh, it was cool. I like that.
I thought so. That was cool. I mean, we had that ring light was set up. These other lights were set up, and I was like, blink. Like what's happening? You know, get so blinded by the lights a little bit. You
Get
know?
a little nervous too, because like you want to do right by the people who want to watch it and stuff.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like I'm not trying to fake anything. I'm not trying to manufacture anything to make you think like anything is. I mean, Wynn's wearing his slides. Wynn wears his slides every single day.
Every day.
You know. So this is
me.
this is you.
This is me.
You know,
I
so-
wear this outfit generally a lot.
Generally, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Generally. One of our friends even talked about, talking about things, what got us here, like our story, right?
Yeah.
And, it was interesting because we came at the first season thinking, hey, let's share a message, right? Our background is PKs, like pastors' kids, right? So
Right.
so we're used to the structure of this is the topic. We're going to break it down in this way. We can present it with this way with these types of
Yeah, I think for us that's just
experiences.
like a normal way to communicate.
Sure.
like,
And I think in a
information.
lot of ways it connects with people because it's a good, easy way to be like, all right, hey, this is all I'm going to chew on in this episode because, we can be a lot.
A lot.
We can talk. I mean, it can be a lot of
be a
stuff.
lot, yeah.
But, it was cool just thinking about continuing to be in a city where you started, right? We grew up here.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like our whole lives.
And like wanting to get out
Yeah.
so
but
much,
For the
only to
longest,
find ourselves like
continuing to be here.
fully here.
For now, yeah, for sure.
And it's the life story thing's crazy, right? Because we're grateful. For me, I'm grateful, and I said it in the last season, that for everything that's happened in my life to this point, even what's changed in my life now between when we filmed the first season is pretty much a year to the date. Of like I think last June we filmed
Wow.
first season.
Yeah.
So it's just like to see even more growth for myself and so much more that I've learned even the hard way. Taking risk for myself and knowing that it's because I'm in a position where I can take risks. But like I still find myself sometimes looking back and be like, I wish I could go tell my younger self this, like I wish I could tell my younger self to not worry about what other people think. But at the same time, like I wouldn't be where I'm like the things in front of me wouldn't be in place right now if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
So really trying to keep that balance because there's still days where you can find yourself discouraged. There's days where you can feel like is what I'm doing actually leading to where I want it to go. And what I find is like you stay active, right? I think we said, and because Michael Henschel told us, action brings clarity, but the action's been the key to everything. And it doesn't mean that all the actions have been like successful actions in a sense, right? It's just like, be curious. There's this book, Design Your Life. It was done like these engineers, and I really I read half the book and kind of stopped through the workbook. I really should pick back up with it. But like, it was really cool because it was talking about like it took designing your life from like an engineering's perspective. And one of the like key principles is to be curious. Find what it is that interests you. I think our entire lives, there were people who told us like follow your passion, right?
Sure.
Follow the things that bring you passion, and that was kind of even the thing that when we started Share One Love and did some of the things in our 20s, like it was I'm passionate about this, and like I want to start a movement. These words that we hear, but like recently we were talking about it with our brother Cameron. And it was in Mike Leach's book, I think, but he said like,
Ooh, I thought about. Yeah, go ahead.
he said like don't, like people say follow your passion, and I'm butchering it or like paraphrasing it, but it's like don't follow your passion, like follow what consumes you.
What consumes you, right?
And like those are different types of things.
Well, and like think about it too. Like even specifically in that, I'm not talking about the Mike Leach book, but it's another book that Cameron gave me that was about the coach that he learned from that hired him. I think it's Hal Mummy or whatever. He ended up being at Kentucky. Anyways, the whole idea was in football, and I know maybe not everybody is a big sports person, but in football, there's a part of your team that their whole idea is to score points, right? To put points on the board to try to win a game that they play. So
The offense.
Yeah, the offense, right? The offense.
As a part of the team.
Anyways, he said he's got this whole idea about creating this offense back in a time where like there were different strategies about it. Most of it was about handing the ball off to your biggest and baddest guy, and he was going to run and go behind these blocks or whatever. But his idea was, hey, let's try to throw the ball. And people were like, no. Like the whole idea with throwing the ball, there were like 3 outcomes, and 2 of them were bad: an incompletion or an interception where the other team catches it, or it could be a touchdown, which is like, so you got a 1/3 of an opportunity. Anyways, the whole idea was it was unpopular. What consumed him was very unpopular. He was getting basically no love. He got hired at a high school and things like that. So all that to say, before he got to his big break where it showed like, I mean, now in 2022,
You
sorry,
think about it.
I did.
That's
in
good.
2022, it's an integral part of the majority of the offenses.
Right,
and
he
major.
radically changed
He
the
radically
game.
changed it, but it was at the time what consumed him was very unpopular.
Right.
and he was basically getting pooed on by everybody.
Pooed on.
Like straight up, they were like, "Dude, this will never work."
Yeah,
we
but,
want to
all right,
hire
so we were
you.
watching, what were we watching earlier? The Purge election year?
Oh, yeah, I
What
don't
did
even-
she say at the beginning though?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like if-
so she's talking to her head bodyguard and she's like, "You don't really agree with me." And he was like, "Well, it's not that I don't agree with you. I like what you stand for, but you like to take risks." He said, "My job is to eliminate risks, so you make my job hard." And she's like, "Well, in order to gain the
Right.
greater change, I have to risk everything."
Right.
And so he risked everything. He risked this dude, Hal Mummy, this football coach, risked his marriage.
Right.
Like he risked everything. But what came was like, so sometimes, most times, a lot of times it'll be the most unpopular thing, and it'll be the people closest to you who tell you it's not going to work. It might be your family. It might be your friends. It might be mentors. They're going to tell you this ain't
Right.
going to be it. And then all of a sudden, eventually the crow might get eaten, but it's not about that, right? It's not about having that motivation to be like, I'm going to
validation's
prove them
not-
wrong.
yeah, we don't
It's
need to
about
seek the validation.
staying with what consumes you.
I don't know if I mind like I'm gonna prove them wrong. Like that's a little bit, but like you don't.
Well,
need
sure,
to-
you might have a little
You
bit
don't
of drive.
need them to be like,
That's
yes.
fine. I'm not
I
saying
was
do it in a
wrong.
vindictive way.
Yeah. I got you.
not
Like,
saying
check your
that.
motives.
Yeah,
I've said
check your
that before.
motives.
Check your motives.
Told you.
I'm full believer in that. No, but yeah, that's the whole point. Like if you're gonna take that risk, if you're gonna do the unpopular thing, whatever that is for you, I think so much of what is like stirring in my life in this season is that it's even kind of like what I've been telling myself for the whole year is just like I am capable. Because like for so long I think I would fear what would come, right? And then so try to already have a plan in place or something where like I could really do something to make a difference in this situation when it comes.
Sure.
Only to like be frozen when stuff actually came and like challenged me. So like I find myself now where it's like I am capable, even in like the times where I feel like I'm not doing the things that I'm doing. I find myself challenging the thoughts that I'm having. Well, even on the bad days, it's like, but I'm fighting with those thoughts too. So it's not that I feel myself even being drugged down anymore. And that's been an encouragement through it. And then again, it's the action brings clarity, is staying intentional with the habits. I'll full disclosure, like it's probably been like only a handful of days over the last 2 weeks that I've done some of my daily habits, and I find myself slipping in certain areas. So like I know for sure this morning I was intentional with trying to do my daily habits so I can continue to get back and get better on the path of growth that I want for myself.
Sure.
Regardless of what it looks like for anybody else.
Right. No, and I think a lot of times, like, when you have some kind of spark or idea that's like pushing you to, hey, this might be something I want to kind of follow on. It takes a lot of stamina to get through all the negative, like the outside noise. I call it outside noise because like there's always going to be people around telling you that's not the way to go. Don't take that risk. Be conservative here. Blah,
It's always
blah, blah.
been done this way.
Right.
those types
And
of
so
things.
to get past, like, even with that initial energy, it's almost like your bar, right? Your energy bar can be blue, 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 like taken down because all you're getting is just negative if you're letting it affect you. And it's easier said than done because it's really hard when people, especially people who are close to you, who you care about, who you respect.
Yeah, and their opinion
drags you down. And it's like,
yeah.
man, how do I continue to push? So like if you're able to even push past that, those early stages, even with all of that energy, it can be hard to sustain.
Right.
Because you've got people continually to throw that negative, you know, that like
The earth is
moving, you know, like, I mean, that whole thing, like, when you have the negative coming at you, and it always will be there, and that's what we've talked about. You can identify there's bad in everything.
Right.
I choose to live, and I don't know, maybe it's through rose-colored glasses, whatever.
Yeah.
In this puffed, I'm not gonna even identify the bad out there. There's so much I get bogged down, me personally. So
Yeah.
I can't do that. So, you know,
You just stay uninformed.
I try to stay uninformed.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really
We've
work
talked
because
about
you
it,
inform
yeah.
me. But I'm just saying, like,
Secondhand information. That's not good.
but all I was meaning with that is like even what consumes you could be, and if it's very unpopular, or if it's a different way, if it's a new way, it can be really hard to stay the course, right?
Right.
When you have everybody telling you this is not the way to go, you know. But they wouldn't call it the road less traveled if people walked on it all the time, right? If you didn't push through some of that.
Do you think the road less traveled is like a good metaphor for actually living life how you desire to live it for yourself, not worrying
Well, I mean,
about
you can even go back to us being kids, right? There was always an expectation that between one of us was going to be a pastor.
I set that expectation. I mean,
Sure,
when I was a little kid, I was running around.
But what made you set that expectation?
Well,
Everybody
I mean, it's
told
because
you.
that's what was comfortable, though.
Well, okay.
I mean, that's what we saw the people in our family.
Sure. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, when they're coming up, they've got expectations from family, like, hey, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go do this, don't take this, don't do that.
So really, the road less traveled is living out.
It's-
I don't
well,
know.
one
For
is-
me, it definitely has been.
It kicks back to the curiosity you talked about. Spend time learning about the vast things that are in this life and available to you.
How do you know what you don't like?
Exactly. How do you know what you like, what you don't like? You know, I mean, anything. I mean, even with football coaching right now, I always loved the sport.
Right.
Always loved being around young people. And I always was like, hey, man, one day I'll spend some time doing that because I think it'd be cool. And then I was like, well, you know, unfortunately in this life, a lot of times you have to get some kind of job to have some kind of income that's put like.
You said a lot of times.
Well, I mean, it's not that people don't have jobs, don't get me wrong. I mean, but they're defined in different ways than what conventional
Fair.
wisdom, and that's what I meant by
I got
that,
you.
okay? But I'm just saying, it's like, well, shoot, you know, might as well work towards this path, because that seems like not so bad of a job. If I can get paid money full-time to coach football, sounds like a pretty good gig to me.
Yeah.
If I got to work a job.
you gotta work a job,
If I got to
that's
work a
right.
job.
Yeah.
So I might as well start building towards that while I maybe and working on maybe some other things in my life and everything like that. I mean, I'm single. Ladies, I'm single. I'm just saying, like, I got nothing except 2 dogs and you. That's it. Well, I mean, I got my family and everything like that. But
I
I'm
feel
just
like
saying-
I'm like, nah, I got nothing but 2 dogs.
that's not what I
and
meant
you.
by that. I'm just saying, like, I don't have responsibilities in terms of like what your normal 31-year-old adult
That's fair.
in the
That's fair.
South
That's fair.
has. Okay.
got
So therefore, I can generally make choices still based on me.
Right.
Even when it comes to you, I can make choices based on me. I should make choices based on me.
You should, right.